Hi guys. So I have had a whole bunch of requests from people asking me to review the solar dryer and how we put it together. I've just never taken the time to do it because I just thought in my mind it's just such a simple thing to throw together that people would just be able to look at it and know. But then I realize as I review it, it's not hard to do, but there's a few steps, and so it makes it a little bit more complicated. So first I just want to talk about the legs, and then we'll move on up. So these are legs that, and I just pulled it out of storage. I'm just trying a little experiment here with some kale and Swiss chard to see if that will dehydrate. I'm thinking about trying to make a powder, so we'll see how that goes. But the legs are legs that just fold up using, these, whatever these are called, and they lock into place, and then you can just unlock it. So the legs fold up underneath, so the whole thing folds flat, and you can pick it up and move it and store it. We kind of base this design on two screen doors. Just like if this was a screen door on top and a screen door on the bottom. Just some basic design, but I've got two levels to this thing. We started out with one level, and then we added a second because I was dehydrating so much at once. So let me open it up and show you what the first level looks like. Alright, so the stuff I'm dehydrating right now is on the top level. So the second level has this built-in stick just on a basic hinge. I'll take you off. And what we have here under here is, it's just a framework, very similar to a wood screen door with pieces running down the center and then support pieces in the middle. And we have underneath here we have just a plastic screening like a screen door, and originally we were going to use that to dry foods on, and then I realized it was plastic and I didn't want to do that because I didn't know what was in it, and it was literally screen door plastic, and then a squirrel chewed through it, and we thought, yeah, that's not going to work. So then we went with this galvanized metal. Now there are studies that show putting acid food on galvanized metal makes it toxic, so I do a lot of fruit, and so I just decided not to do that any longer. So we added a third layer, which is this plastic, actually let me grab a roll. Alright, so we got this from Lem, dehydration screen roll, and the rolls just happen to be this wide, which is why there's this little space here that's still open, but that's okay. So we have this layer, which was the original layer, and we would lower it, and then we could close it using like these window clamps. These quickly failed because the wood dried, and it's expanded and contracted, and they were just too flimsy to use. But we also now discovered with the weight, nothing is coming over to pick this thing up. So we just had the top on it, and then we realized if we screened the top like we had the bottom, that we could make another layer to dry goods and foods. This is where the squirrel chewed through. You see that? Oh, shit. Alright, let me lower the top. Alright, so we get the wasp out, and we lower this down, and then we made another framework here and a smaller framework inside, and now I just have a portable stick that I just use, and now we have a second space where we dehydrate. And there is enough airflow coming around from up and below that it dries things actually fairly evenly on both sides. And if I want to, I can move the stuff on top to the bottom and move that to the top. This is metal mesh up here, and that is really helpful in keeping out the bugs. So people ask me, why don't the flies get in there or the maggots get in there? And it's simply because the screening material is too tight. And if you remember, we started at the bottom with actual screen mesh, that plastic mesh, and that works on the bottom as well. They don't get in from the sides because it's just too tight. And I mean, we just stapled this stuff down. It's not like we spent a long time figuring out how to make this. This is really a screen door design. I mean, an old-time screen door design. And you literally could use screen doors that you hinge together and then get some good dehydrating plastic. This has only been out a day. I mean, look how dry this is getting. This has been out 2 days. And I just want to see if I can make a powder out of it, and I think I'm going to be able to just with the solar dryer. Right? Okay, so overall, pretty easy. Let me take this down. And we put the portable stick on this time because below I've got the stick right here and it takes up some space. And I wasn't real happy about that. I wanted more space. So again, bugs can't get in, squirrels can't get in, no flies or anything. And I tore this putting it in storage, so I'm going to have to repair that. But we are going to make a new one. I mean, this has been in action for 5 or 6 years now, and it's wearing. And we'll make some improvements, like the window latches with the second top on it. They don't work. These hook down latches broke off. This is not even really needed, but it is nice not to overextend the legs when we pull them out. But this is it in a nutshell. I mean, it's not hard. And let me show you what we started with in the greenhouse now. But one day I found these, and these are those things that hang underneath a feeder so the squirrels aren't supposed to be able to get over and get into the feeder. And I found that they had this nice mesh on it, and it had this middle stick here, and then on this side it's very thin. And so I thought, if I have one of these, I could have something kind of thick, right, that I could put in there up to 1 inch, and then I could take its partner with the skinny side and put it on top. And I had a bunch of these, and I could stack and stack and stack them. And it worked to start dehydrating things. I started with some onions. And then I thought, well, let's just do this on a bigger scale. So if you can make a box and you can get some stainless steel screening material, that plastic dehydration material would be better. You can start dehydrating using the sun. And remember, you can get the round dehydration things like the Goodwill. The rolls I got them a few years ago. I can't remember how much I paid for them. I'll put it down here. I used 4 rolls, and I still have one left over for that whole big unit with 2 sides. But you can see this is the concept. You have a solar dryer now. So try it. Figure it out. Look around your house. If you have something with tiny little squares in it, or you're drying something big, you can try different methods for home drying, like the racks that go in your oven. If you were drying pieces, longer pieces of something like onion or maybe zucchini or huge mushrooms, you know, as long as you covered that up somehow to get rid of the bugs, put one of those picnic screens over the top of it, put it out in the sun, there you go, right? Not so hard. Let me know if you have any questions. When we make our new one, I'll film it. But, yeah, pretty easy.